my God, will Pulse fill up? Yes. If it accrues so much value and gets so many users, yeah, the fees will go up and you'll just get really, really rich holding Pulse watching. Oh no, more really, really rich people. Like, you can't, here's the thing. You cannot force a free market to keep things cheap, because then crappy use cases that aren't valuable will outbid useful and valuable use cases. And do you want your chain with limited capacity to be filled up with crap? No, you don't want your chain filled up with crap. You want it filled up with nice, good things. Well, then how do you know what the difference between nice and crap is? By bidding. And the people that see more value in the chain pay more to use the chain. And then your limited resource chain, through the bidding mechanism, is filled with the most valuable things that people can fill it with. And so this like socialist USSR decree that, oh, we're just going to have cheap fees forever, it doesn't work, because there's a finite amount of space and you have to allocate it to certain users. And who should you allocate it to? Those that can most afford it, because they're bidding with their money for how valuable the transaction is. So the solution to a limited resource isn't to screw around with the pricing. The solution to a limited resource is to create more of the resource. So the Ethereum chain is full. Great. Well, we're going to make one with 4 times more throughput, and it won't be full. It'll be empty, and let's go fill it up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another awesome day on Pulsechain. Yeah, boy, I'm feeling bullish. What about you guys? Richard Hart, bullish X posts. Richard's bullish, so you should get bullish as well. And of course, we're going to talk about Hex. I think Hex is hot. I've been talking about it every day. It's in the accumulation zone under that 1 cent. We're going to talk about that later on. Hex is hot. And of course, Bitcoin halving 1 day away, pretty much. So we're going to check out that too. We've got lots in store today, so look forward to it. Let's see who's in the house at the moment. We got Lies Beneath. Actually, I wanted to give a big shout out to Lies Beneath, Sandy Beach, all our moderators, Brian, our community leader. They do so much for the channel, and I do appreciate all their support. So a big shout out to all of them. Obviously, also a big shout out to all the subscribers, all the members of Discord, and yeah, awesome. And of course, all the channel members as well. A big shout out to all of you. So very cool. And speaking of Lies Beneath, how are you today? Very good. And of course, the old golden strategy, Richard Hart, Hex, PLS, PLSX incentive for the win. We're going to talk about that in full today. So stay tuned for that. Now, Sandy is in the house. Big shout out from Sandy. Hello, Hex Token, everybody. And Sandy's got day 18 of, I think it's the AB challenge. And you can follow Sandy here on X social platform. Give her a follow and share the channel around. Leave a comment. Sandy is crushing it on there. For the health and fitness for the Pulsechain and X community. So big shout out to Sandy. Let's see, we've got Brennan in the house there. Howdy, Superman family. Brennan's our TA guru. So let us know what you think about the charts as well, Brennan, during the live stream. Look forward to your comments there as well. Wookie in the house. Wookie all over the place. Good to see you, Wookie, one of our awesome mods. And of course, he lives at the end of the world. He does indeed. So good shout out to him. We've got a Stook Bear in the house there. Hey, mate, good to see you, Stook. And, of course, looking pretty good. We've got a bit of a Hugsy there, YW. I'm not actually sure what that means. Is it oh? Is that how it is? Maybe it's that. So big shout out, Sandy. All right, let's get into it, folks. Without further ado, it sounds like something of, I don't know. What does it sound like? Let's get straight into the stock market. We're going to kick it off very briefly. Stock market. Let's see how that's going. Well, apparently it's not going so hot. S&P 500 in longest losing streak since October. That's the headline. Headlines can often be over dramatic and etc. But as yields jump, so yields jump there. Probably the good thing is that's happening in a slow pace. There's no big suddenly 5% or 8% down day. That's the stuff that's really kind of alarming when you have those major corrections, 20-30% kind of things. So here we are. We've got the Dow Jones is pretty much up slightly at 22 points, 0.06% of 37,775. Remember, the Dow Jones got the top 30 industrials in it. S&P 500 is down 0.02%, 11 points to 5,011. And what else we got there? We got the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq down 0.5%, 81 points to 15,601. So definitely a down day, a risk-off day for the stock market. The US dollar gaining a little bit more strength at 106 is in the index versus trading partners. Let's have a look at commodities. We couldn't find them yesterday. We can't find them today. We've got this silly ads in the way, so we're going to have to move past commodities. Going to have to try and work out what's going on there. And we've got a bit of a commentary here. Treasury yields continue to mount up as hawkish Fed speaks. So we've gone from dovish Fed to moving sideways Fed to hawkish Fed, which is not so good. So in other words, we're talking about risk of rate rises rather than rate pivot. We're expecting that pivot and rate cut, right? Because of strong economic data recently. So Treasury yields continue their trend higher. Rate cut expectations continue to take knock. So knock after knock, aren't they? We talked about May, then June, potentially July. So we're really getting pushing further down the year now. Following remarks from the Fed speakers calling for patience on cuts, patience on cuts, while others flag the possibility of resuming rate hikes should inflation pick up pace. So we're kind of in that questionable phase there, but let's hope that we get some good data so that we can get those rate cuts on the market. Interest are in good place. Interest are in good place, says New York Fed Reserve President John Williams on Thursday. Now, I think there's about 21, if I remember right. It's been a while since I checked this number. I think it's about 21 or something like that. Fed chairs that are in part of the Fed, not Fed chairs, but Fed presidents that are on the Fed. And of course, we've got though caution that if the data are telling us that we would need higher interest rates to achieve our goals, then we would obviously want to do that. So question mark there. They're going back hawkish again. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic reiterated the rate cuts aren't likely to begin until the end of the year now. So we're talking about July now at the earliest, and then September. And of course, the year passed because they want to get that 2% inflation target. And they're thinking it's going to be slow and bumpy now, given the way data's been coming out around inflation, GDP, employment, things like that. As well as hawkish Fed remarks, fewer than expected initial jobless claims data, pointing to ongoing strength in the labor market as an unexpected increase in a key regional manufacturing report also dented hopes on the rate cuts. And obviously, the big move has been typically you raise interest rates to trade off employment. So you want a higher unemployment as such. So you can get, really take a hit at the inflation there. This is not from the monetarist point of view, of course, but that's kind of where they are at the moment. So anyway, let's see what the market thinks of that at the moment. Let's go to the tools and see where the market is at on interest rate cuts. Obviously, this is a key driver for crypto moving forward. And we've got 1 week and 5 days away to the May decision. So we'll get a bit more information then, a bit more firmed up information. Are they really turning hawkish? We will see. Anyway, at the moment, 99%, basically the whole market expecting a no pivot there on the market at the moment. So let's go to June. June is at 80%, no pivot. So it looks like June's not on the cards from the market's point of view. 57% on July. So we're really getting pushed out now. And September is starting to look like the earliest we could get that interest rate pivot. So we've got 33% of the market expecting a no change. But that gives us 2/3 of the market that are expecting a change. So a rate pivot still. So fingers crossed, folks. Remember, we were looking at 3 rate cuts. Are we even going to get that? We're going to get 2 at best. Are we going to get 2 rate cuts at best? We will see. Really will depend how the data comes in over the next 3 months, say. So we'll keep a lookout on that. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is on the ascendancy, up 3.12%. At $63,363, and the Bitcoin dominance there, 52.87%. Looking pretty strong, isn't it, the old Bitcoin? We are waiting for that altcoin rally season, and of course, we are also waiting for Bitcoin to continue its rise over time. And of course, we're going to talk about that in a minute too. Ethereum there is at $3,063, up 2.32%. Those are the majors, and of course, we've got some of the others there. Solana happens to be up 6.5%, up to $141, despite the chain issues that it often has. ICP is also up 7% at $12.77. Some of the standouts. What else is looking pretty good there? Uni is back up after the regulation and up 5% to $7.20. Link up 5% as well. How's that looking there? Tons up, obviously, in STX there you can see as well. So that is the market. Let's zoom in on Bitcoin, though, with the Bitcoin halving counting down. So how are we doing? We're just 11 minutes into a brand new day. And of course, this green candle was the day we had yesterday. We had a low of 60,816. Can you believe it? Because we're up at over 70, remember? And here at the high was 64,000 yesterday. That's a range of what? $3,400 range yesterday, following that $5,000 range before the day before. So pretty crazy. At the moment, we've got the 200 moving average at 50 moving average at 64,513, and the 200 day at 50,462, which is a pretty nice little support there. At the moment, we haven't been able to get back over that 50 moving average though, and of course, we've got about a day away to get the Bitcoin halving, and we're currently at 63,108. So we're at the top end of that range. So that's positive news there as well. So that is the Bitcoin. Let's jump into the countdown. 1 day and 37 minutes. We're almost 24 hours away from the Bitcoin halving. By the time we finish this live stream, it'll be about 24 hours. That's some crazy stuff right there. 153 blocks. Can you believe it? 153 blocks to go. We got Joey Torres in the house there. Hi all. Good to see you, Joey. Welcome to the chat. And of course, our community leader, Brian, in the house. Up, folks. Always good to have Brian in the house. Sandy Fishes, I have to figure out the Discord. I cannot hear the Wookiee videos. I'm sad. Yeah, we'll try and do that, get work on that one. Wookie's been posting his skateboarding videos, which we love. We love him. So it's basically Adventures with Wookiee, and he's been posting some really, really good stuff. Brian says, stay alive till the halving. Stay alive. No, I'm not going to be doing that. I was going to joke about that, Brian. Funny that you raised that, but I could never sustain such a mission like that to be live streaming all the way through to the halving. Happy Friday, everyone, says Andrew Reynolds. Happy Friday to you. Big shout out. All right, so that is the countdown at the moment. So, yeah, almost 24 hours away on that one. We might keep that up just for a interest sake. Now, what was I going to talk about here? So we've got some cool stuff happening. So the halvening here. Woohoo! We're coming up to it. Yay! Pump it up. Now, obviously, you can see this chart here is a beautiful summary that someone's put together here, and it just sort of shows you the uptrend that we've got going into the Bitcoin halving here. These are the past ones, right? The past ones here in May 2020 and July 16 here. So every 4 years of Bitcoin halving. And of course, this is sort of basing the future on the past. It's about as one of the main methods you look at, right? And yeah, we may have a volatile time here in the red. You can see that in the red there. But then possibly a big green rally. Look at that. We had a bit of red here and a bit of red here just after the Bitcoin halving. And then, of course, a green bull market. And that's what we're heading into. This has been like so far since like October, November last year. We've kind of been in the early season, haven't we, really, for that? And yeah, so they're still waiting for season 2, I guess, is this red area. And then season 3 is the main game. And up and away we should be. Now, obviously, we've got green days here. So the indication here is that this one back here on 2016, this went for 518 days was the rally here. So this line here going all the way to the top of that move was 518 days. So that's kind of the bull market ahead of us there. That's on the long end. And then, of course, we've got the bull market here for 21, and we've got that 546 days. So we've got a range there between 500 and 550 days. Say that's kind of a good range, and that's kind of the indicator here. Are we going to have something like that, 518 to 546? So that puts us out here, and that puts us out to September, right? So 2025. So that's kind of the back end. We had a chat like this in Discord yesterday, talking about maybe between Q1 March next year and September Q3. And this fits in pretty well with that longer term view of the bull market based on Bitcoin history as well. So that's looking pretty good with that range. So good times ahead, really. We might have a bit of a turbulence, post Bitcoin halving into May maybe, and then off to the races, unless somebody unless the powers to be decide to do something a bit different and keep pushing us higher. We will see. But at the moment, that is a pretty reasonable picture, I think. That most people can accept is this a view of the future. Now, we've got a little video here of Scaramucci talking about Bitcoin and how things are changing up. So let's get into that.
Skeptic. I think what got me past being a skeptic is the notion that this is immutable. It's decentralized in a way that makes it very powerful. The network itself is scaling. And if you think about the way we treat money in our society over the last 5,000 years, Bitcoin checks all of the boxes. The only box it doesn't check is central bank manipulation, which I think it makes it way more powerful. And so at $1.4 trillion, could this trade to half the market capitalization of gold, where gold is $16 trillion today? We believe it can. We actually think it's going to go through the market capitalization of gold. And if you're making the point that the American owners in an ETF are not going to be enough to get it there, I disagree, because over time, the acceptance regulatorily is going to allow people to put it in the portfolio. A 1% position in these global portfolios takes it there.
All right, so that was Scaramucci there on Bitcoin, which I thought was a nice little cut there. So yeah, I think pretty bullish, maybe a month or two of volatility, and of course then up and up to the up to the right, because we like that. And of course, what's that going to mean for Pulsechain, right? Altcoin season, all that. So yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoin season, Pulsechain, of course, and of course a lot of the new hot chains coming up like X1 and others like that. It's going to be a boom time. So looking forward to it. All right, what else we got going? And let's say we got Big Kahuna in the house there. Good to see Big Kahuna. Welcome to the chat as well. And yeah, there's the Strategy Club membership. If you want to join up to that today, go check that out. $30 a month. And we're multi-chain, talking about multi-chain projects. So get on that. All right, so that is that. Let's jump away to the Bitcoin balance at the moment. So you know what, we've got about 19.5 million Bitcoin, I think it is, out in the market. And we covered that a week ago, the breakdown of who owns that. Obviously, the ETFs are trying to buy it off the individuals, which own the bulk of it, really. So that's people like yourself out there that own Bitcoin. They're trying to get it off you with the Bitcoin ETFs. And, of course, at the moment, over all the exchanges, apparently the Bitcoin balance is now down at about 1.7 million Bitcoin out there to be sold amongst all the different type of holders. So whether they're businesses, institutions, individuals, that is what's out there at the moment for sales, and it's been going down. See, it's been going down. So we started the year off at what was it, 1.9 million. We're down to almost 1.7 million Bitcoin on the exchanges there. So I thought it was a pretty interesting looking video. A picture there to give a bit of insight that scarcity is coming into Bitcoin. So, and then of course we're about to have the Bitcoin halving in just over a day here. And so that's indicating that we're going to have the Bitcoin block drop from 900 down to 450. Now, obviously, miners going to still earn the block fees and things like that, but the Bitcoin reward there is going to go down, or at least EIP or 1559 burning of fees there. But we're going to still have that Bitcoin reward going down by half, which means less dumping on the supply side. So we can see that the market has got less Bitcoin on the market generally, and we're also going to have the Bitcoin miners with less Bitcoin to dump as well. So some pretty interesting things are going to happen there. And of course, with technology, Bitcoin miners going to have to reposition as well. All that stuff's going to play out with capital expenditure and stuff in the next 4 years for the next halving. All right, so it's kind of where we are at the moment. Let's get into it. Now, the other thing that's happening is the Bitcoin halving, but is also the Runes protocol. So that's going to be launching on Bitcoin. And of course, that's a huge deal, right? So that is coming up. And here is Casey. He's the developer for Runes. And this is going to be major. So this is going to allow basically like how we had in the last bull market on Ethereum. We had, and even this season, we've had meme coins flourish. Well, this is going to allow for a lot of people to do that on Runes on Bitcoin. And for the first season, for the first bull market season. So Runes protocol is hot. It's hot. And people are really keen on it. And of course, here, Casey, the developer, is about to launch that at the block halving. So a block of 840,000 when the Bitcoin halving is, this is going to be launching, which is going to be super bullish on top of the ecosystem, on top of Bitcoin. And of course, it's going to be massive and big memes on there. Obviously, I've talked about Runestone. That's kind of the number one market cap now, sitting number 2 behind CryptoPunks on Ethereum. But likely to see some fireworks there. And of course, they're going to be dropping after the Runes protocol launches. They're going to be dropping a dog meme, and that potentially targeting to be the most valuable meme coin in the world. So what's that? Somewhere like up where Dodgers, like 18 billion dollars or so. So there could be some huge opportunities on the Runes protocol. It's going to be the ultimate meme casino, and of course on Bitcoin as well, the most valuable chain. So it's going to be fun times there. So we've got 2 big events, the Bitcoin halving and the Runes protocol launching. we're inside a day, or just over a day now as well. So pretty exciting to see that. All right, you can see some of the runes here on magiceden.io, an audited exchange, very important there. And you can see the pre-runes frenzy. In other words, before the runes protocol launches inside 24 hours is crazy. We've got Prometheans here, huge community in gaming, and of course do Ethereum as well. We've got Runestone, of course, #1 by market cap, doing some pretty amazing things led by Leonidas. Going to be crazy, and of course dropping the dog meme coin, ultimately targeting to be the most valuable meme coin in the world. That's going to get 3 different token drops too. The first one is the dog meme, which is going to be absolutely lit. So it's going to be a hot fire here. Then, of course, we've got Rune Pups and many others in the list. So it's going to be fun. And I might just do a separate session on this at another stage. But yeah, looking hot here. This is some huge opportunity on crypto, on Bitcoin for the first bull market season. You know what that's like. Remember last season on Ethereum with the meme coins and other coins. You're talking about Shiv and Pepe and all the others. Dodge, of course, absolutely flourished, making millionaires. And some of these may very well do the same with the big, wealthy Bitcoin investors over here for the first time and may access to a simplified runes protocol with memes. So it's going to be pretty badass. All right, that leads us into Ethereum. Ethereum at the moment, yesterday closed out. What do we have? A green day. We had the low of $2,952, a high of $3,100. We're currently at $3,054 at the moment. Obviously, that's got all the stuff happening. Now, obviously, the Ethereum ETF approvals were scheduled for the 23rd of May. We have a low chance of that being approved, maybe up to 25%. Now, there was a bit of excitement growing that the SEC chair there Gary Gensler was going to lose his job, but that was all faked out. He was just talking about all the stuff he's achieved in this period of time. So that's pretty hilarious. So that's kind of the play there at the moment for Ethereum. And of course, we're looking for, that next, after we get through the Bitcoin halving, maybe a month or two volatility and up and to the right. It's kind of the reasonable view at this stage. Now, obviously, history can often, doesn't necessarily repeat, but it can often rhyme, as we're saying. But sometimes it can do its own thing and create some new history. So we'll see. But it's best to play probability, right? And we'll go with the rhyming of history there for that. All right. That's pretty cool. We're going to get into Pulsechain, of course, and Richard Hart. Richard Hart Bullish X post. We're going to get into that. There's a lot of stuff to talk about there. And of course, Hex is hot. And I've been talking about this, obviously, day after day. Very cool. Now, Brian's got put in here some Hex memberships here, giveaways. So big shout out to Brian for supporting the channel. And who picked them up? We got Tintop picked them up, Joey Torres, Wookie, Andrew Reynolds, and Archie. So congratulations to all of you. 3 of those happen to be moderators, but it is random apparently. So there we go. How about that? It's not a setup. There we go. What else is announced there? We've got a few other comments. Let's see where we got back up to. We'll scroll back up. There's Brian's link to join up to Discord or the Strategy Club. Either way, that's the link to link on there. What else we got here? Wookie is a holder of V-Bucks. I'm not sure what that is, Wookie. You have to explain that. You have to explain it. Good morning from J Pond. Big shout out to you, J Pond. Big Kahuna says it looks like the same link. I think they are posting the same link, but they do it all the time. They like tease each other around that strategy link. I think it's a bit of fun for them. Tintop's in the house there. What's up, Hexicans? Hey, Tintop, good to see you. And welcome to the chat there. We got, what else there? What's up, all from J-Pon. Let's see who else has jumped in there. All right. Live says it's rigged. No, it's random. It's supposed to be random, honestly. Thank you for the membership, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to Brian, our community leader. Crushes it in there. All right. Let's get into it. Richard Hart, man. He's been posting it. But before we got that, we got Adel in the house there. Hey, from Canada. Good to see you, Adel. I always have to say this because it's a Kiwi thing. But Canada, they always say the A at the end. Canada, we got our own version of that, but I can't remember what it is. What else there? V-Bucks for life. What is it? V-Bucks are great on Fortnite on. Okay, so these guys are talking about Fortnite on the gaming because they're into that. They are crushing it in the Discord on the gaming channel. All right, let's get into it. And there we go. Richard Hart, man, he is being bullish posting. Yeah, boy. Thank you, Richard Hart. 16 hours ago, he started posting a whole posting storm. Now, we used to call it Twitter storm, right? But we're on X now, and I do want to get rid of the name of Twitter, even though it's very catchy. And, of course, they've still got twitter.com here on my link that I've got. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've saved it. But most large cap cryptocurrencies are down 25 to 33% this week, says Richard. Tag the communities that cry the least during dips. Bitcoin, Ethereum were higher years ago than now. BTC is lower than when I called the top on a days. Sorry, BTC is lower than when I called the top on the day years ago. Seems like Bitcoin and ETH guys cry less. So I guess in Pulsechain community, you got to cry less there. So there we go. That's the way it goes. Another one here. Pulsechain was nearly at all-time highs 35 days ago after a 6x in 194 days. It's functioning. Let's actually zoom in on this one. It's functioning wonderfully while other chains are not, and it is. I mean, the Pulsechain is doing very well. We could probably have some better block explorers. I mean, I think we can all agree with that. We've got a couple. Some of them work better than others. We do need probably improvement on block explorers. Anyway, so this is chart. Look at this chart. Do you notice here? So you guys know I've been using the support line here as well. And Richard's got this support line here. He's used this before, of course. But isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? And we had that bounce off here. So this uptrend is going to be very important, I think, when we get into the future. You can look back on here and go, oh, yeah, okay, that made a lot of sense for the upside. So I'm very bullish about Pulsechain and very, very cool. All right. Now, we also got more. We got a whole storm of these posts on X. PulseX was nearly at a new all-time high 35 days ago after doing 11.8x in 179 days. 812 billion supply is burned so far. That's right, folks. We're going to talk about that when we get up to the daily update. 4% is now burned and gone for good. Its supply only shrink, never grows. And, of course, look at that. It's got a nice little uptrend here. This is Richard's charts, right? So always take the clues, the blues clues from Richard. That's all you got to take there. Looking very, very bullish there. Every time you post a chart, it's very important to analyze what his words are saying there. Now, this one here caused a bit of controversy. This one here, you can decide. You let me know in the chat. On the chat, because we like to be, here. So this one here was Hex was nearly at new all-time high 35 days ago. It did the 5.3x in 198 days. To be clear, this is the Hex on Pulsechain, where all the liquidity is, and not the Hex on Ethereum. Don't click links and responses, etc. I don't know why I read that last part, but because he posted it on all of them now. But this was the Hex chart that he posted. And of course, you can see it's been moving kind of sideways here on that, but at the high that we did, and we've got him posting. So that high there was created from him talking about Hex on Pulsechain versus Hex on Ethereum, and of course, favoring the Pulsechain version from now on, and saying, well, you got your copy of that, so you've got your Hex there, and eHex is not so no valuable. It's not the magic carpet ride stuff. So you guys can make of that what you will. But bullish sign nevertheless. Richard talking about all these highs. Now, incentive, of course, incentive token was a superstar. Incentive went up 25x in 87 days. Its previous high was 41 days ago. And of course, he's posted that link as well. No trends there, but he certainly posted the fundamentals there. Now, obviously, a lot of people are bullish about incentive token. Some people are talking about $1,000 incentive token. I can definitely see that. It's definitely possible. So I'm onwards and upwards. And we also got this. So like I said, he was storming these posts out 16 hours ago. Pulsechain was and is available for free to millions of Ethereum people. All the EIC20s as well. Yet another example of something going from worthless to worth millions and millions. And of course, he's talked about this many times in his live streams about creating value out of nothing, about shared narratives, shared perspectives, shared belief. These sort of things that Richard's talked about in the past. At least one free ERC20 copy, a coin up 5,000x already. And that was from Richard there. So, he's spreading the word around Pulsechain. He's had some pretty big views on these posts as well. Then 15 hours ago, he followed up, and now pretty much an hour later, or at least a little bit later, and he goes, the haters need you to fail in order for their pain to go away. So don't lose your hodl dog on that one. They'll frame anything as failure to try and avoid their sadness. Pulsechain, PulseX, Incentive, and Hex on Pulsechain charts are mostly up and to the right for the last half a year. And, of course, here's the charts hater need you to feel bad about so they can feel less bad. So he's actually giving you a bit of encouragement. Here we go. And he's got all the charts there. PulseX, and of course, Incentive Token and Hex on Pulsechain. He's posted those again. So once again, absolutely blasting out. Very bullish post from Richard R, if you ask me. Very bullish indeed. And he's actually given a bit of support, moral support to you on Pulsechain and Hex about the charts and about the future potentially. Obviously, and then 15 hours ago said, shout out to Ethereum bros not crying about being down 42%. So if you're on Pulsechain, are you crying about it? Maybe that's part of the thing there. Over 2.5 years, and of course he posted the chart there for Ethereum there on the monthly from Bitstamp. You can see it for yourself. What else we got there? Shout out to Bitcoin bros not crying about being down 40% over 2.5 years. So I actually find these are fun posts. The chart is mostly up and to the right there about Bitcoin, so he's posting that as well with the monthly chart for Bitcoin. So that is that. Oh, where are we going there? I got too far back away. What else there? We got 2 hours ago. So that was a big break. That was 15 hours ago. And then 2 hours ago, suddenly we got another post. And this is a massive. This is gigantic. And add all these posts together. Very bullish posts from Richard. I teach you about markets. The market doesn't care if you bought higher. The market doesn't care if you are underwater. If you bought Ethereum at 5K and now it's 3K, the market don't care. And of course, but you see, after you might have bought at 5K, someone else literally bought at 1,000. So while you might cry and whine like a wimp, don't be a wimp, guys. At 3,000, they're quite happy here at 3K because they did 3x where you were holding a negative 40%. So who should new people be more concerned with? The crying, whining. So it's a big theme of these posts today. And don't be a crying and a whiner. down for 889 days, guys that bought 5,000, or the guy that 3x'd by buying 672 days ago. And when people buy things, they often do so emotionally, and they prefer good emotions to bad. And this is interesting because this is one of our principles on this channel, right? Is no drama, because we try to keep away from the drama and just look at as objectively as we can the markets and what are the opportunities and what are the best strategies. So that is I'm on board with that. What do you think feels better to a new guy? Hearing someone crying and moaning that they personally bought higher? And of course, rule number one there about crypto: you never FUD your own investments, right? Unless it's a complete dog. Apart from that, unless it's a good dog meme from Runestone, unless it's that. Or hearing about the mad gains of someone that 3x his stack. You hear about that. They took speculative plays, right? We've seen lots of coins in that space last couple of weeks, particularly. So you are participating in the most volatile price action to ever exist. There's always going to be a top buyers, period. And this is, if you're new to crypto, it's very important to learn. That's why I always talk about the RSI. Have you noticed that? Every live stream I'm talking about the RSI. Use it as your friend because it can help protect you from buying the tops. And of course, that's what you really want to not do. You want to buy the bottoms and sell the tops. So that's the key there. RSI, very important tool to help you do that. And there's always someone that made money selling them at the top. Most people just wish the top seller was them. It's funny that people push the price up themselves with their bids, but don't see that they personally are part of the reason there was a top when there was, because instead of waiting and buying dips and they bought dips, I guess. Personally, responsibility is quite rare these days. No raindrop thinks it's the flood, right? So there we go. The same goes for sellers. People that sell all the time and never buy all and scream about others not buying. Anyway, I sat through Bitcoin going from $30 down to $2, and I'm still here. So TLDR, well, you might have bought higher and are sad. Many might have bought lower and are happy. It's too bad top buyers yell so much louder than bottom buyers. It's noisy for the new folk. And of course, he posted a chart there of Ethereum there. Now, obviously following his post probably 15, 16 hours ago, probably got a little bit of stuff about that, particularly the Hex chart. That's why I said let me know in the chat there what your thoughts were on that. But in any case, I think taken as a whole, all these posts are super, super bullish. And, Richard's out there, trying to save people from getting wrecked and creating value for people longer term. In open source projects, you should improve the code or pay somebody too, or why would it get better? Only if you leached off others contributing nothing. Bitcoin is quite the same. If you want ads, you have to buy them yourselves. If you want better businesses to deal with, to build them yourselves, welcome to open source. So that was another little tidbit there. So Richard's been really, really on a storm here on X today. Ethereum has the cheapest gas I've ever seen in a long time. Now, this is important. We obviously cover this every day, but it's a good time to, if you're going to end stakes, you're very lucky to have the gas down at this price at the moment, particularly because of the S-load function that Hex requires. So it's pretty important there. So that was Richard Hart today. Absolutely bullish post in my view. And Hex one was definitely controversial and exciting. So let me know in the chat there what you guys think. All right, so that is it from there. Now we got some more news. So that was Richard, but we also got a post here from Nuclear Herbs, what we've covered before. If you remember, we covered the court case that's going on, Richard Hart versus SEC, and of course Pulsechain, Pulsehex, and Hex versus SEC, right? And of course he provided some inside information from someone who talked to one of the attorneys. Now he's followed up on that. This is just a few hours ago. Breaking news. I never get to say that, so I figured I'd just say it for just once. It's got my sense of humor there a little bit. I reached out to one of RH's attorneys, that's Richard Hart's attorneys, after my double top secret source identified him as the guy he talked to after the hearing. And of course, we covered that on a live stream, like I say, a week or so ago. Here's some info for the October 24 hearing. So that's coming up later this year. Obviously, going to be a big milestone there for Pulsechain and for the case itself. Hearing direct from RH's attorney, making plans accordingly. As we get closer and travel plans get firmed up, I'll get a head count and we'll see if we need to ask to push this to a bigger courtroom. So that would be pretty awesome. Hopefully we can get there. I'm sure we can in the Pulsechain X community, so big. Wouldn't that be something? Absolutely. So Eleanor Terrett there. This hearing is October 24th before Judge Amon in, I guess it's New York there. Now, this was the Richard Hart's lawyer here replying to Nuclear. Thanks for your email. This is some info. Seating capacity is 50 to 75. If you think we're going to have a large turnout, we can alert chambers and they can potentially arrange either a larger courtroom, spill over to a courtroom with video feed, or both. Number 2, first come, first serve seating. Number 3, there is no dress code, but people need to be quiet. No cheering for us, and certainly no catcalls for the SEC. The other thing is that it's probably good to go with some decent clothes, although it's New York, right? It's New York. One thing people have. Did I get in trouble then? I don't know. One thing people will have to understand is that they will be required to surrender their phones to the U.S. Marshals upon entry to the courthouse. Anyone who is uncomfortable checking their phone and for the duration of the proceedings should not bring it to the courthouse. And of course, thanks for your support. I'll be sure to let Richard Hart know. And we know a lot of influencers out there are trying to organize going to there, like Maddie Allen and probably Crypto Coffee and others. So good stuff there. So that is the post. Kind of cool. I did post all these posts inside Discord, so you can check them out on Discord. And that leads us into the Pulsechain update for day 343. So we're going to get into that. Was it day 342? I keep forgetting now, but we're going to do the update today. Before we do that, let's get back in the chat there and see who else has jumped in there. Let's see. We got TikTok says I'm blocked on X. I would need to fire up another account someday. Probably better if I stay away off anyway. Yeah, you got to be you got to take all that comes. You really need to filter out stuff over on X to make sure you're not getting all the the crappy stuff. It's good to set up. I set up lists and feeds and stuff, so I try and get rid of stuff I don't like. What else there? Wookie says Wookie is going to call that line Hill Street Blues. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about there. Yeah, Freedom Channel, Family Channel, No Drama Channel. Absolutely. What else there? That's it. I think that's it for the comments. So let's get into the day's results for Pulsechain. Day 343. I think it's still day 343. So we do the crossover. So not sure if it crossed over yet, and I forgot to look at the day before it started. Anyway, we got Pulsechain up at the moment. Contributor 0802. Up 5.22%. So we've got nice little green candles there following Richard's post as well. We're still 20% below the mean sacrifice price. And there we are. A good opportunity to accumulate, right? Now, Pulsechain at the moment, quadruple 0307. And that's back over the key line there. And we're up 4%. But the story of the day is the buy and burn. 813.3 billion Pulsechain has been bought up and burned 4%. We hit the 4% mark. So congratulations, everybody. And we've still got quite a few days to go, I guess, before the end of the year. So kind of cool. What do we got? About 22 days to go before the end of the year. Now, we've got incentive token at the moment up 2.5%, $3.56. And we've got the supply at the moment sitting at 29, almost just under 29.5 million incentive tokens in existence. PHEX there leading the way. Look at that. Woohoo! Let's give it a clap. Let's give it a shout out. Hex is looking hot. It's looking hot. Hot damn, it's looking good. That's looking good. You look so good, Hex. You look so good. All right. So Someone's going to say, well, off the bottom, it's easy to look good off the bottom. I know you guys out how you think out there, man. Anyway, let's move on. We got 25.3% mad gains on the Hex there. So pretty good. Just under a penny at the moment, 99/100th of a penny. EHEX at the moment is at 17/100th of a penny. The combined price is back over 1 cent. So that's really cool. Finally there, 1.16 cents, quite nicely. And of course, Hex for the win, right? Hex for the win there. So that's day 343 from the looks of it. And let's get into the charts themselves. Obviously, these look very reminiscent of the charts that Richard's posting because we're all looking kind of at the same chart. I've got the same kind of support line there that Richard had. And yeah, here we've got the Bitcoin halving up and Pulsechain 1 year coming up there in May. What's it, the 12th of May or so? And of course, but you guys know the rhythm, right? 50 weeks for shake out the hands. I have it 1 year, right? I think 2 more weeks, 52 weeks in a year, right? But 50 weeks is the saying. And of course, that is basically next week, isn't it? Next week. So yeah, bring it on between next week and here. We're going to have something bullish. We're going to have Magic Carpet Ride. And of course, these bullish posts today. Who knows? It's going to be game on. I'm still thinking it's looking pretty good for me. Magic Carpet Ride, and let's see if we can shine while others are maybe having a bit of volatility, especially around Bitcoin. Now we have got the RSI down pretty low as well. So Pulsechain looking pretty good there at the moment, and we're back at 8,000. I think that's kind of neat. So looking good there on Pulsechain. Pulsex as well, similar story in the low RSI, and of course in the oversold territory. And we've got nice upside there at the moment. And of course, we've got that good support at 2,500. So looking pretty bullish here at 3,000, back over 3,000. Pretty important line here. And of course, this is pre-SEC, around the SEC price, right? So we're looking pretty good. I think we're looking pretty hot there. All right, Pulsex, very nice. And 4% is now destroyed forever out of the public supply. So looking good. Now, incentive token, of course, let's have a look at that. The ratio to Pulse is down at 44,000. So we're kind of holding there. We certainly wouldn't want to break too much down, particularly down below 40,000. I think we can all agree holding above that's pretty important at the moment, 44,000 there. And we'll be watching out for this as well. I need to add the RSI on there, but that is the ratio at the moment. The star of the day is Hex. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh, man, it's looking good. And getting too excited about Hex is hot. Hex is up there. But we're almost back at 1 cent. You guys know, look at the orange line. Look at the orange line. That's the 1 cent line, right? Woohoo! Everything under here is kind of accumulation. It's kind of good, cheap value, right? But it looks like it's about to pop up there. Pretty awesome. Now, I was going to do an inversion. No, I wasn't. I was going to do the pulse there. Now, we have got the RSI moving back to 50 on the daily, and we've got a nice move there. So we can actually move quite a bit up high here. And you guys know I've been talking about this being accumulation zone every day, so there's nothing new there. Anything under that orange line, accumulate. And eventually we might have some major breakout, right? Some major breakout coming up. That's why Hex is extra hot. Not only is it moving up big at the moment, but here is the weekly on the old Hex there. Look at that move on the weekly. Woohoo! Give us a clap. Let's give us a clap. Okay, so that is the ratio from Hex to Pulse, right? And it's gone. Like we're bouncing at around 100, right? 100, and I kept on saying accumulate. And some of you probably did. But here we are breaking up to 123 Hex per pulse per Hex there. So pretty awesome. 123 pulse per Hex. We are breaking up to the upside, looking very nice indeed. So that's on the weekly there. And you can see that's kind of looking good. So on the daily there, have I got the log? Let's put the log on. The logos. No, not the logos, the log. And of course you can see there, pretty nice. If we add in, some nice little lines, trend lines here. I mean, look at that, folks. Is that starting to look good? And it's not like overdone, right? It's not overdone. So it's kind of sneaking up on there. And maybe we break through. We've got plenty in the RSI, right? We break through and then we come back down. What do you guys reckon? Let me know in the chat what you guys reckon there. Break up and touch, and we bounce off this this resistance, and off we go. So maybe just start chigging away, and off we go. It's going to be fun, folks. May's coming up, 50 weeks next week. Full year, 12th of May. Woohoo! Come on, let's believe. And we're breaking out of here. We've got all this bullish stuff. It's going to be good. And even if we slowly zigzag and off to the races, that is kind of the play there. So Hex is looking hot. We've got nice moves today, 26%. Looking pretty damn good. All right, that's enough FOMO. You guys are just too much FOMO. Too much FOMO. Calm down, everybody. All right, so here we are on EHEX. Now, EHEX is obviously going to get dragged up, right? And we know this. EHEX will get dragged up. Now, obviously, PHEX or Hex on Pulsechain is the main Magic Carpet Ride game, but it will drag up, inevitably drag up EHEX. Of course, it's got to go through the BankX, assuming that's still there. I'm pretty sure it's still there between, 7/10 of a penny and 1.4 cents. So we're still going to go through that. I think it's about $8 million, is it? Yeah, something like $8 million. It used to be like 14 million, but it's like about $8 million worth. And so yeah, that is sitting. And where's it sitting? Is it Omnis or 9-inch? I think it's yeah, I can't remember which one. Is it 9-inch? You guys let me remind me. I've just forgotten for some reason. One of those two. And so bam, there we go. So looking pretty good. Oh, EHEX, and that will get dragged up. And of course, the RSI is just coming off the bottom there too. Pretty cool. All right. Now the combined price of EHEX and PHEX. Woohoo! Look at this. Hey, we got gapped. Look at that gap. Oh, that's interesting. We'll see where we come down to. Sometimes often you test that gap. I don't know whether this is chart or not. But anyway, we're back at 1.16 cents. I think that's pretty cool. Still at the bottom of the range. But as you can see, we're at critical points, particularly on Hex on Pulse, where we could actually have a big rally, and EHEX may have a big rally all the way up to 7/10 of a penny. And there's nothing really holding it back to do that. And of course, the whales can start to play and splash. It's such an easy, safe entry for them to come in at the moment, given the way these charts are looking at the bottom of the range. So whales can come in, zoop up a lot, and suddenly game is on. You guys know it, game is on. All right, we're getting really psycho today on this channel. We're going to do something about that. I might have to get put in the bin or something. But anyway, 1.1 cents there. Look at that. And you guys know once we go over 3 cents, it's going to be up and away. And what happens if we start to slowly just build up here, and then we just start rallying up to some big prices, 5, 10 cents, and then that sort of thing? It's going to be game on, folks. And of course, so yeah, we might retest some support. But once you start making those major breaks, it's game on. And at least people get left behind, right? So you got to keep your fresh perspective every day. Don't get fudded out, all that sort of stuff. Like Richard was saying, don't cry, don't whinge. Try and stay a rational player in the market and look for value. All right. And of course, often it's going against the crowd, right? Against the crowd, what the crowd's doing. Well, let's go into the gas prices. Quickly look at that. 655,000 beats. So we're about 3 times normal gas there. 2 cents for a Pulsechain swap, 1/10 of a penny for a Pulsechain transfer, and 3/10 for a PRC20 transfer. With Ethereum way so low lately, which is fantastic, is at 8 Gwei. We're still 406 times cheaper than Ethereum. And of course, it's up to around about $9 almost for a Uniswap up to that point, and 2 cents for a Pulsechain. So we're looking pretty good there as well. Let's go to the validators. Validators at the moment, 49,199. Validators at 1.57 trillion. Now, here's some stuff. Jack Levin out there, people call him the vampire, but he has actually made a big shout out on his latest video that was out today about future of that chain. And he talked about Pulsechain being one of the best decentralized chains out there with the massive validators. So big shout out to Jack Levin there. 1.5 trillion off the market. So there was a bit of kudos for Pulsechain in that list of quality decentralized chains. As you guys know, Pulsechain really is leading the decentralized revolution, and I think more people are going to be catching on sooner than later. We got the bridge at the moment is at 118 million. So I think that's up a little bit from yesterday. I think we were down to 116.8 or something. So it looks like it's come up a bit there. And the DAI is at 39 million. USDC 22 and 14 USD Tether there, looking pretty good. Now PXDC I noticed has shaved off a little bit there, down at 5.7, but that's probably going to rebound a little bit more in the future. And currently USDL sitting at 17 million, Coast at 4 million, and of course we're waiting for Coast to come back with their financial provider, probably in a week or two is the time frame for that. All right, that is pretty much it. So let's get into some of the other charts. We're going to get into the derivatives. What is hot? Wow, everything is hot. Everything's done hot. So we're getting some nice gains here. Look at this stuff, folks. What do we got there? We got Icosa on Pulsechain up 52%. We got Hedron on Ethereum up 51%. We got Hedron on Pulsechain up 25%, and Icosa there up 14% at the moment for the Hex derivatives. And I still haven't got Maximus stuff on here. I need to get it on there. The base, the trio, the lucky, the dicky, you guys know it. So there we go, Maxi. All right, let's have a look at the influencer coins. Now, this influencer coins were, over the previous week or two, have been creating a lot of the value on Pulsechain in terms of volume and price pumps. And of course, the things have changed around. Let's have a look at how they're performing at the moment. We might go by liquidity here. SolidX is at $75, down 6% at the moment. So that's kind of been quite volatile in that range. Randy Alaski's no tokens doing very well at half a penny, down 2.5%, but holding up pretty well. Access Alive at 28,200 is down 8.5%. Hexy Bastard Paul Pleb is down 2.6%, and Trayvon's More Token is up 8.5% at the moment at 44 cents. BitBoy V1 has gotten hardly anything happening on it, but it's got 10k liquidity. And of course, Hexify Crispy Man at Hexify there, his coin is pretty much even, just up about 0.5%. And of course, My Life is Awesome there is at up 17.6% at 7.2 cents there. So not bad there. So yeah, bit of a easing off there of this ecosystem, but keep a lookout for these guys. These guys are really trying to look for creating value for their followers, and of course they're also trying to help Pulsechain at the same time. So not too bad there. So big shout out to all those influencers. All right, let's jump over to what I've got. P memes here. I'm not sure what I got there. SHIB is up 13.5%. One of the big PRC20 copies. And what else is going on here? Let's look at stablecoins. Stablecoins at the moment, PDI is at 6,500, so 6,500th of a penny, up 10%. Keep a lookout for these, folks. PDI, as you guys know, I think it's just the chart is saying it all. It wants to get to 1 cent, and of course, if it gets to 1 cent, and of course, then there's a dollar is definitely plausible, right? I mean, look at meme coins; they pump with share narrative, so why not PDI? So whether you believe in the maker theory, or a troper or anything else, it's still up and to the right here so far in the chart here, just consolidating pretty nicely to have that major go at 1 cent. And you guys know once you get to 1 cent with the the fact the price goes up squared and all that sort of stuff, then getting to 10 cents can happen pretty fast as well. And of course you got whale plays and all sorts of stuff going on with this chart, but that's still looking pretty good. And nothing is holding this thing back. How did I get rich? I had PDI, had a stable coin that wasn't a stable coin, became a stable coin. Well, who knows if it's going to become a stable coin, but certainly the narrative going to $1 is definitely plausible. And the chart's telling you, right? Chart's telling you that people are valuing it more and more and more. You got to remember these are daily candles in here, folks. So pretty big deal there. Let's go to the weekly for PDI. That is the weekly candle there. Look at that, up and away there on PDI. So this is sort of plays that you might reasonably expect, right? We could get this for Hex, for example, big power moves over the weekly, and then a bit of an easing off, and then off to the races, right? Probably a little bit different to this chart, but it's certainly out there at the moment. Hex is looking hot, and so is PDI as well. Now, obviously, PDI, you want to get the poorer cousins is USDC and USD Tether. You can get those. They're following up, but they are cheaper to get. You can get more of them, in other words, and they're up 11% as well. Pretty much there. That is where it's at the moment. All right, so let's go to our final lists. We're going to go to the major list here, Pulsechain, and see who are the hot ones, who are moving big time over the last 24 hours. So we've got here a couple. We've got Banana Republic. That is up 164%. Now, I'm not endorsing any of these as usual. Just commenting on what is hot at the moment, what's moving up, whether they're safe or not. You have to do all that due diligence yourself. We've got UN coin here. That is up 64%. Very big volumes in here. So there might be teams supporting this or influencers. You have to do that. Check yourself. You got to be careful with safety. You want to know that it's renounced and safe and all that sort of stuff. Verified contracts, things like that. Cream is up 46% at the moment. Chitta in there, which we have followed when it first launched, it's up 38%. Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear's got a big theme. Of course, a lot of people are pretty bullish with Teddy Bear. I think that's Moon King, I think, the influencer pumping that. But it's up 34% there at the moment. So there's some of the leaders there. Die Hard earning some PDI. We just talked about PDI, of course, with the trading volume. That's up 27% at the moment. And of course, look at Hex. Hex is finally in the top coins that we've been talking about. So it's nice to see you there, Hex. We give you a salute. We who are about to live salute you. That's the way we're going to put it. That's pretty much it there from the top ones there. We've got others there. Peer is up 25% at the moment. This strange language, I have no idea what that is, but that's up 25%. DWB, you guys know it. That was doing pretty popular the other week or so ago. That's up 23%. Token called Wings up 22%. Time dividend. So we're getting down to Hex as our CD miner. Time is the first utility, I think, on this list. All the rest of them are kind of meme or some version of that, meme coins. But we're finally getting into Hex, which is kind of like an investment savings product there. And then Time dividend, of course, Internet Money Wallet with KG doing a great job out there, 22%. Hex Digest for all the Tang gang. That's doing pretty well there, up 20% as well, related to Hex, A-Bit, sorry, I should say. That's doing pretty well there, and so on. Crow up to 19%. Fruit, I have no idea. This fruit rat, Florida fruit rat. Who knows who launched that, but that's up 17% there as well. G'day. Gillespie coin up 16%. So lots of movers, folks, are doing pretty well over that 10% mark. We've got a few others. Cookies, Pine, and Pinu are all up over 10%. Those are kind of 10% or higher leaderboard there. We're doing about 40 million, so it's a bit higher, I think, than yesterday. I think we're at 38.8, a bit higher on the volume. Now that's still relatively low. Like, we obviously want to get to 80. Hopefully we get to a point where we're getting $100 million days plus. That would be pretty cool. And at the moment, we've got 367,000 transactions, which is a bit lower, I think, than we had yesterday. We've been up 390 or so. Yeah, a bit more work to do there. But really nice green candles on here today. Something to celebrate, I would say. All right, let's get into Hex, of course. So we're going to jump through this pretty quickly. 18th of April. We've got the price there at 2300th of a penny on the snapshot. That's a bit of a rebound there. And, of course, the payout. What's the payout today? Where did I go? Did I jump past it? 7.129 Hex per T-share on Ethereum. So nice little payout there for the miners. Let's jump over to the T-shares. T-shares down 6,700, sitting at 9,242,000. Let's jump over to the penalties. Penalties today, 1.2 million. So really nice penalties on Ethereum. It's great being a T-share miner on Ethereum there, because you're just earning these sweet penalties there. Just under 66 million in the reward pool to share amongst the T-share holders. 58 liquid holders. So we're getting some increase in liquid holders with the market moving up, which is pretty nice. But we're getting less miners. So the miners going down, and we're at 118,214 there. Let's have a look at Pulsechain. Now, Pulsechain's not out. We haven't got today's results out yet. But we've got yesterday's results, which I didn't read out, day 1598, which would have been, was it day 3, was it day 3, was it 330, 332? Was it 332? I have to go double check now. Let's go quickly check. 341. 341 is it? I think we're on the new day, 341. So let's check that. So there we go. What was the payout? 6.88 Hex. And of course, the T-shares were down 8,500, just below 9.5 million T-shares on Pulsechain. And the payouts pretty minimal, 270,000 penalties 2 days ago with the reward pool there. And but we have had nice growth numbers in liquid holders, which is pretty bullish for the chart, right? So it's kind of cool, even with the T-share miners down, even on Pulsechain, which is the growth chain, right? Super cheap to do Hex mining over there. 124,000 holders, which is about 6,000 more than on the Ethereum chain now in terms of mining Hex. What a day. Man, we almost did it all in an hour, 57 minutes, almost 58 minutes. But those are some of the hot trots there. And, of course, Hex there playing a key role, playing a star role, and maybe about to do even greater things, right? So what a day. And, of course, the Bitcoin halving coming up tomorrow when we're doing live stream. The Bitcoin halving will be happening probably around about time when we're doing it. So I'll definitely try and cover that, stay live while the Bitcoin halving is happening. And, of course, that Ringe protocol launching as well. Let's see who else has jumped in the chat. A couple more comments. How far back do I have to go? Let's see here. I think we got up to Sandy Beach. Says I mute conversations on X2. Yeah, the feeds really can start flying through on the old X there. It's going through that. We got the Pineapple 888 in the house there. Superman Mornings. Good to see you, Pineapple. Welcome to the chat. And we've got Anita in the house too. Howdy. Welcome. What's upcoming launch coins at the moment? I'm not sure, actually. I mean, I was doing that every day, but it's not so clear at the moment. It's not so clear what those are. I will try and do my best to keep abreast of those. I need to update my list as well, my update list. So that gave me a lot of notifications. So I'll try and do that too. Anita says, cool vid this morning from Wookie. Yeah, we'll have to check that out on Discord. Definitely get in Discord under non-crypto. Wookie's posting his daily little vlogs, skateboarder vlogs. Quite cool. Sandy Beach says, I love the time token. Yeah, well, big shout out to KG's. He's done all the right things, and it seems to be moving forward all the time. Solid X going down again, says Pineapple. Yeah, it's still holding up a reasonable price. It did go lower. I think it was $75 when we looked at it just earlier, but it is still hanging up there. What else there? We live in strange times, says Wookie. We do indeed. Took a vacation to the Banana Republic recently. It was wonderful. Wink, wink, says StakeX. Are you trying to tell us something there? Trying to tell us something? All right. That is pretty much it for today's live stream. That's 1 hour. 1 hour of solid pulse chain updates. And, of course, Bitcoin halving. 4 years to get this excitement about Bitcoin halving. And it's only 24 hours away. Going to be pretty awesome there. All right, let's play out my favorite video. Given that Richard posted so much and Hex is doing really well today, let's post out some cool Magic Carpet Ride from Richard Hart. And, of course, we'll play the Scott Harris song as well. Peace out there. See you in Discord. Enjoy your day, folks. And I will see you again tomorrow for the Bitcoin halving. Bye for now.
In theory, if someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a magic carpet ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, what weighted value have you given the risk of a magic carpet ride? And it's just hilarious to me.
It's fun to watch Hex pumping up the charts. It's left behind all kinds of broken hearts who didn't buy the dip, who didn't DCA. And now that we're on a rip, it's hard to look away. Now I'm not the one to hand out free advice, but as for me, I wouldn't dare think twice about buying a bag, since we're still somewhat down. This rocket ship's about to break the speed of sound. You know these wheels are starting to roll. Best to sit back and just enjoy the show, 'cause we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco. I tip my hat to everyone who minds. You're getting paid out while you're killing time. It makes room for a nice vacation to the beach, perhaps a celebration now that you are rich. Ha ha! Ignore the haters who all called you crazy. You studied hard while they were being lazy. Now you're packing bags, about to take a ride up on that rocket ship, mooned up and starry-eyed. I feel these wheels are starting to roll. Best to sit back and just enjoy the show, 'cause we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco. Now that we're summer bound and the sun is bright, I see that it's not round but rather has 6 sides. It's a work of art that's written into code, designed by Richard Hart to make our bags explode. You know these wheels are starting to roll. Best to sit back and just enjoy the show, 'cause we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco. Yeah, we're about to ride that train into the heart of Hexaco.